2 cars stolen in 1 week at Bell West. Qatar News, residents of Bell West, number 2 Canal, West Bank Demerara, are on edge following 2 separate car thefts that occurred just days apart. The latest incident took place on April 17, 2025, when 27-year-old Nico Prince reported that his vehicle, valued at $1.6 million, was stolen between 11 p.m. on Wednesday and 6 a.m. on Thursday. Prince revealed that his car contained music equipment worth an additional $180,000. In an interview, Prince explained that a cousin had parked the vehicle overnight while visiting a friend. Upon waking up and checking for the vehicle, he discovered it was missing. Surveillance footage from the Demerara Harbor Bridge captured the stolen car crossing the bridge heading towards the East Bank Demerara around 2 a.m. on Thursday. "It's hard because that's the vehicle that actually brings in money for me. I use it for renting and business," Prince lamented. Just a week earlier, on April 10, 23-year-old Hermit Ramratan experienced a similar loss when a car he had rented was stolen from directly in front of his home in Bell West. The theft occurred between 8:30 p.m. on Thursday and 5:30 a.m. on Friday. The vehicle, valued at $1 million, contained Ramratan's driver's license, identification card, and 2 bank cards. "It affected me badly because it's the first time something like this has happened to me," Ramratan said. "I'm trying to figure out how I will get back the car." Both incidents have been reported to the police, who confirmed that multiple vehicles have been stolen from the Bell West area in recent weeks. Investigators are now looking into the possibility of a coordinated car theft ring targeting the neighborhood. Teen biker killed in accident at Diamond. Qatar News, an 18-year-old motorcyclist, identified as Ricardo Melville, tragically lost his life in an accident on Monday night at Diamond, East Bank Demerara, EBD. According to reports, Melville lost control of his motorcycle and collided with a nearby structure in the vicinity of Demerara Distillers Limited, DDL. This incident marks another addition to the alarming rise in fatalities among motorcyclists in 2025. President Irfan Ali recently highlighted that motorcyclists currently account for 43% of road fatalities this year, emphasizing the urgent need for improved road safety measures. As investigations into the accident continue, the community mourns the loss of a young life, underscoring the critical need for awareness and safety on the roads. Prolonged May/June rainy season expected, warns climatologist. Newsroom. The Hydrometeorological Service of the Ministry of Agriculture has issued a warning regarding an extended May/June rainy season, following insights shared at the National Climate Outlook Forum held at Herdmanston Lodge on Tuesday. Komal Dairam, a specialist meteorologist focused on climatology, indicated that the upcoming rainy season is expected to last longer than usual, with projections showing above normal rainfall and an increase in the number of wet days compared to the typical 90-day period. An early transition into the rainy season has been observed, which we had previously identified in our bulletins earlier this year, Dairam stated. He emphasized the importance of preparedness, advising residents to ensure proper drainage and irrigation systems are in place. Farmers are particularly urged to plan accordingly due to the heightened risk of extreme rainfall. The Hydrometeorological Service cautioned that low-lying areas and regions with inadequate drainage systems are likely to experience flooding. Residents are advised to exercise caution and take necessary precautions to protect life and property as the rainy season approaches. Tragic collision on Lynden Highway claims life of motorcyclist. Newsroom. A tragic accident on the Mablissa Public Road, Soesdijk Lynden Highway, claimed the life of a 39-year-old motorcyclist and left a minibus driver hospitalized late Monday night. The collision occurred around 10 p.m. and involved 3 vehicles, a green and silver minibus, registration number BRR 8331, a white motor car, PXX 3747, and a motorcycle, CL 7080. The minibus, owned by Vibert Amsterdam, was being driven by 54-year-old Maurice Meredith, a resident of Wismar, Lynden. Initial police investigations suggest that the minibus was traveling south on the eastern side of the Mablissa Public Road at an allegedly excessive speed. Reports indicate that Meredith lost control of the vehicle, veering into the western lane directly into the path of an oncoming motorcycle ridden by Markine Jackson, a resident of Silver Hill Village. The collision was severe, forcing both Jackson and his motorcycle into a stationary white motor car parked on the western side of the road. The car is owned by Alonso Cornelius, a 53-year-old man residing in Central Amelia's ward, Lynden. Both the motorcyclist and the minibus driver sustained injuries in the crash. Jackson was found unconscious and was transported to the Lynden Hospital complex, along with Meredith, who was semi-conscious. Tragically, Jackson was pronounced dead upon arrival at the hospital. Meredith has been admitted to the Accident and Emergency Unit and is currently under police guard for observation. The body of the deceased has been taken to the pensioner's mortuary, where a post-mortem examination is pending. Authorities are continuing their investigation into the circumstances surrounding this tragic incident. U.S. State Department labels Guyana police force as weak link in money laundering efforts. News source Guyana. The U.S. State Department has identified the Guyana police force as a critical weak link in the country's fight against money laundering, according to its annual International Drug Control Strategy report. While acknowledging Guyana's ongoing efforts to combat this issue, the report highlights that money laundering remains a significant challenge, adversely affecting the nation's economy and governance. The State Department criticized the police force for its lack of specialized training in financial crimes, noting that most investigators in the Special Organized Crime Unit, SOCU, are former patrol officers with minimal exposure to financial crime investigations. As a result, the majority of money laundering cases remain unprosecuted. To strengthen its anti-money laundering (AML) regime, Guyana should fully implement existing laws, including asset forfeiture and enhancing oversight in high-risk sectors such as gold export and public procurement, the report states. It calls for increased training for local law enforcement and financial regulators to enhance their capacity in combating money laundering and the financing of terrorism, CFT. The U.S. report indicates that money laundering in Guyana has evolved into a systemic issue involving both public officials and private citizens, often intertwined with corruption and organized crime. The limited regulatory resources and the relatively small financial sector in Guyana complicate the enforcement of stringent AML measures. The report also emphasizes the role of the local gold mining sector in facilitating money laundering, indicating that gold smuggling often serves as a means to disguise illicit funds and evade regulations. Techniques employed in the mining sector include large cash deposits backed by fraudulent agreements and the clandestine transport of precious metals to avoid tax obligations. Recent investigations by SOCU have included charges against former Deputy Commissioner of Police Calvin Brutuss for money laundering. Furthermore, in 2024, the U.S. government imposed sanctions on billionaire businessmen Nazar and Azruddin Mohammed, along with Permanent Secretary May Thomas, over allegations of money laundering, gold underdeclaration, and tax evasion. In response to these developments, the Guyana government has acknowledged receipt of information from U.S. authorities and has forwarded it to the police and the Guyana Revenue Authority for further investigation. Additionally, the government has revoked and declined to renew several business licenses linked to the Mohammeds. Meanwhile, Permanent Secretary May Thomas remains on administrative leave but continues to receive her salary. U.S. State Department identifies corruption as major barrier to drug trafficking fight in Guyana. News source Guyana. The U.S. Department of State has highlighted corruption, bribery, and nepotism within Guyana's public sector as significant obstacles to the country's efforts in combating drug trafficking. This assessment was detailed in the annual International Drug Control Strategy report. While the report acknowledges that the Guyanese government does not officially promote narcotics production or distribution, it indicates that law enforcement officials and political entities hinder the fight against drug-related crimes. The prevalence of corruption within law enforcement and public institutions allows traffickers to evade prosecution, as authorities often drop charges or fail to conduct thorough investigations. The economic allure of the drug trade, exacerbated by high poverty rates and low-paying jobs in the public sector, further complicates efforts to combat trafficking. The report notes that these conditions drive individuals toward illicit activities. In a stark reminder of the challenges faced, the report recalled 2 incidents from July 2024, where 4 ranks from the Guyana Defense Force were charged with trafficking 213 kilograms of marijuana. Nevertheless, it also highlighted significant successes in drug seizures, including over 4 metric tons of cocaine confiscated in collaboration with U.S. law enforcement at an airstrip near Venezuela, marking the largest drug seizure in Guyana's history. Despite the country's increasing oil wealth, the report underscores that public sector and law enforcement officials remain underpaid, limiting their effectiveness in tackling drug trafficking. This, combined with inadequate resources and deficiencies in the legal system, allows traffickers to exploit government systems. To address these issues, the U.S. State Department is urging the Guyanese government to enhance its fight against drug trafficking. Recommendations include improving law enforcement and customs capabilities through port security enhancements, bolstering intelligence operations with regional and international partners, implementing stronger anti-corruption measures, and revising legislation concerning drug trafficking sentencing to deter involvement in the trade. In March, Guyana and the United States signed a memorandum of understanding aimed at strengthening security cooperation and collectively addressing challenges in the Latin America and Caribbean region. This agreement will facilitate ongoing efforts to combat narcotics trafficking and transnational organized crime, enhance information sharing, improve synthetic drug detection, and foster military collaboration between the 2 nations. VP hints at vehicle import tax reform. Guyana Times. Vice President Dr. Barrett Jagdeo has hinted at potential reforms to Guyana's vehicle import taxation system, indicating that the government is open to reviewing existing duties and introducing a more liberal policy framework. Speaking at a recent press conference hosted by the People's Progressive Party Civic, PPP/C, Jagdeo acknowledged that while the administration has already implemented several duty reductions, further adjustments could be made as the country's road infrastructure continues to develop. We have reduced duties on many items since taking office, including vehicles. Their duties are still high, and we will likely review them in the next term in office to bring them down, Jagdeo stated. He emphasized that as the road network expands, a more liberal taxation system for vehicles could be feasible. The vice president noted that any changes to vehicle taxation would be balanced with ongoing investments in road safety, traffic regulation, and sustainable development. This anticipated shift aligns with the government's broader development strategy, which aims to modernize transportation while ensuring fairness and sustainability. Jagdeo clarified that the current taxation policy does not discriminate based on the origin of the vehicles. This is not discriminatory. The same tax rates apply to vehicles from any part of the world, he said, addressing concerns about potential biases related to specific countries. His comments build on recent government reforms aimed at making vehicles more affordable and promoting environmentally friendly transportation. In the 2025 national budget, the government eliminated all taxes, including customs duty and value-added tax, VAT, on electric vehicles to encourage cleaner transportation and reduce the country's carbon footprint. Additionally, a 50% write-down allowance on electric vehicles was introduced as an incentive for purchase. In 2023, the government reduced the import duty on new motor vehicles under 1,500 cubic centimeters from 45% to 35%, resulting in average savings of approximately $200,000 per vehicle. Furthermore, a flat tax of $800,000 was established for used vehicles under 1,500 cubic centimeters, replacing the previous variable tax rate and providing predictability for importers, which led to an estimated $300,000 reduction in overall import costs. Jagdeo emphasized that these changes are part of a larger strategic vision linked to infrastructural development. As new highways, bridges, and roadways are constructed, particularly in emerging urban areas and hinterland communities, access to affordable and reliable vehicles will become increasingly vital for economic and social mobility. Amid ongoing financial crime case, Brutuss's wife remains absent from court. Guyana Times. Adonica Alder, the wife of former Assistant Police Commissioner Calvin Brutuss, has yet to return to Guyana to face money laundering charges nearly 5 months after being granted permission to travel for emergency medical treatment. Alder, who was heavily pregnant at the time, received court approval from Acting Chief Magistrate Faith McGusty in December 2024 to seek medical attention abroad, with a directive to return for a court appearance on December 18, 2024. Since then, she has only participated in court proceedings virtually. Alder faces 2 counts of money laundering, accused of knowingly acquiring $352,082,315 from her company's bank account at Republic Bank in December 2023, allegedly derived from criminal activity. The investigation into the matter remains active. On Thursday, Alder appeared via Zoom as her case continued before Magistrate McGusty. She joined her husband, Calvin Brutuss, and co-accused Kevin George, who were present in the courtroom as the court sought statements and further disclosures. During the hearing, Magistrate McGusty expressed concern regarding Alder's continued absence and requested clarification on her expected return to Guyana. Defense attorney Dominic Bess informed the court that they possess a receipt for a U.S. passport application but did not specify whether it was for Alder or another individual, a detail that remains unverified. The prosecution requested that the receipt be submitted to the court, which Magistrate McGusty approved. She also inquired about the timeline for the passport process and the earliest possible date for Alder's return. Brutuss mentioned that the process could take 6 to 8 weeks, and that appointments were being scheduled based on available dates. The magistrate ordered that copies of the receipt be submitted and subsequently adjourned the matter to May 16, 2025. Additionally, the court heard submissions related to Brutuss and his co-accused, Kevin George, who are facing 261 fraud-related charges stemming from allegations of financial misconduct, including falsified claims and abuse of public funds. During the session, the prosecution acknowledged that several key bank documents remain outstanding and have not yet been presented to the court. Attorney Everton Lammy-Singh, representing Brutuss, challenged the state's readiness and questioned the fairness of requiring his client to appear frequently without sufficient evidence being disclosed. They should not be charging anyone if they don't have their evidence in order, Lammy stated, requesting that the court reduce Brutuss's required appearances to once per month. The magistrate granted this request, considering the status of the proceedings and the delays in disclosure. This high-profile case has garnered national attention, given Brutuss's senior position within the Guyana Police Force, GPF. A former candidate for police commissioner, Brutuss has consistently maintained his innocence. The charges against him, George, and Alder arise from what investigators allege to be a complex scheme involving suspicious financial transactions and possible abuse of office. The investigation commenced in late 2023 following flagged financial activities and an internal probe into various financial irregularities. Alder's company, which has not been publicly named in court documents, is believed to be central to the transactions now under scrutiny. The court is expected to examine substantial volumes of banking and financial evidence once disclosure is complete. Lima Sands woman receives new home. Guyana Times. A new chapter has begun for Padmawati Fakal of Lima Sands, Region 2, Pomarunsupenum, who received the key to her new home after enduring years of living in a shack in the Anna Regina Park area. The house was presented on Sunday through the Men on a Mission, MOM, initiative launched by President Dr. Irfan Ali to uplift vulnerable citizens across the country. The initiative was made possible through corporate sponsorship from Derek Wan and Ashmani Ramnarine, in collaboration with the local government and regional development ministry, the agriculture ministry, and regional officials. During the handover ceremony, minister within the local government and regional development ministry, Anand Persad, discussed the vision behind the project. President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, who leads the People's Progressive Party Civic, PPP/C, took office with a vision to develop this country and assist those who are vulnerable and in need of support, he noted. Minister Persad emphasized the critical role of corporate sponsorship in making the project a reality, explaining that partnerships between private individuals and government agencies are essential for such successes. This initiative was made possible by corporate sponsors who want to give back to society. I thank Jugan and Ramnarine for their contributions, which exemplify the collaboration between the private sector and the government, he said. He encouraged Fakel to cherish her new home, reminding her to share its origin story with her family. This house was made possible by the People's Progressive Party Civic through the Mom Initiative. Congratulations, he added. Fakel expressed her heartfelt gratitude for the new home, stating, "Thank you for this house. I will be more comfortable. Thank you." The ceremony was attended by Regional Vice Chairman Humesh Udit, Mayor of Anna Regina Town Council Devin Mohan, Director General Ricky Ramraj, and other regional officials, all celebrating this significant moment for Fakel and the community. Topco issues voluntary recall of unsweetened orange juice. Newsroom. Topco, a prominent member of the Demerara Distillers Limited (DDL) group, has announced a voluntary recall of specific batches of its 1L unsweetened orange juice. The decision follows consumer complaints received last week regarding discrepancies in both aroma and taste. The recall, officially issued on April 16, 2025, pertains to Topco 1L unsweetened orange juice produced in batches 1, 2, and 3. In response to the feedback, thorough testing was conducted, confirming that only this particular product line has been affected. Topco's quality assurance and production teams are currently collaborating with equipment manufacturers and specialists to conduct an extensive review of their supply chain and operational processes to identify the root cause of the issue. Consumers who have purchased the recalled juice are encouraged to return the product to their place of purchase for a full refund. In a statement, Topco emphasized its unwavering commitment to maintaining the highest standards of quality and food safety. The company expressed gratitude to its customers for their vigilance and timely reporting, which allowed for a prompt response to the situation. Topco reassured consumers that all other juice products remain available and unaffected by this recall. For further information, customers may contact Topco directly or visit their official website. Investigation into killing of Lynden's Ronaldo Peters concludes, DPP to provide legal advice. Newsroom. The investigation into the fatal shooting of 21-year-old Ronaldo Peters in Lynden, Region 10, has been completed, according to a release from police headquarters. The Guyana Police Force's Office of Professional Responsibility and the Regional Security System, RSS, finalized their inquiries into the incident. The police report indicates that the case file will be submitted to the Director of Public Prosecutions by April 23, 2025, for legal advice. In a related development, investigators are set to interview additional witnesses regarding the fatal shooting of Kian Fojane on Tuesday. This is part of an effort to finalize the case before submitting the file. The RSS is also preparing a report detailing their findings and recommendations, which is expected to be available by Friday, April 25. Ronaldo Peters was shot and killed by a police sergeant around 5:30 p.m. on April 7 while officers were conducting a search at Shabba Bar in 1 Mile, Lynden. Peters was reportedly wanted for a rape that occurred between December 1, 2024 and January 31, 2025. CCTV footage of the incident shows Peters standing by the roadside with a group of men when a heavily tinted minibus approached. Men dressed in white t-shirts and black pants exited the vehicle, prompting Peters to flee. The footage captures an officer dragging Peters by the neck as he was taken to the minibus. Peters' aunt, Mary Benjamin, confirmed that police had contacted her seeking his whereabouts for questioning, but she did not turn him in, nor did Peters surrender voluntarily. While police claim that the officers involved were fully uniformed, the CCTV footage appears to contradict this assertion. In a separate incident, Kian Fojane was killed during protests in Lynden on April 8, further heightening tensions in the community. Authorities continue to monitor the situation as investigations proceed.